Hey, it's Mark Yagi. Welcome to another weekly market pulse. Today is May 16th, 2025. We are still in a green market. Love it. I think it's getting a little long in the tooth, but we're green. Can't argue with a green market when things are going up. If you're in the right stocks, you're feeling it too, and I hope you are. So let me show you what I got going on. We had a really lively debate in the mastermind group today. It was really fun. Some smart people in there, but it's really cool. So here's what we have this week. We've got really four green lights, but you can see they're kind of back on the side of the left side of the chart, which means, we've been green for, looks like going on 3 weeks now. And that's extending past the average of the amount of time. But that doesn't mean that we sell. It just means like we're a little bit more cautious. It's not the beginning of the green market when we want to go in. We're a little more cautious toward the end. But who knows? We'll see. All right, here's what we're looking at. We've got a NASDAQ that went way down on tariff news or whatever bad trading news that everybody thought the sky was falling. And then the market has recovered extremely well, up 28% or something from the bottom. And you can see there's a few gaps left on the chart, which are concerning longer term as gaps get filled. And so all the indexes basically look like this. They're over the 200-day moving average, but they're in a death cross situation. We want them to be over the 200. We want them to be over the 50. They're overall their major index moving averages, but there's a lot of selling that's going to happen here, this overhead supply. So we'll see what happens. But right now we have to play to the upside. I think the upside is stalling a bit. Just looking at this chart, it's like, ooh, kind of stalling. Same thing. Look at this. This is the S&P kind of stalling, but still a bunch of good days in a row. Every day this week has been up on the S&P according to this chart. The Dow, the weakest, but still pretty good, over the 200-day moving average, right at it, up with the gap up. And there's nothing wrong with this chart. It's just we'd want it to be a little bit stronger. And frankly, we want some of this volume here to be a lot higher going up. But it's not there yet. Not everybody's a believer yet. The New York Stock Exchange Composite looks like the other ones. It's doing extremely well, and a couple of good days of volume there too. So a lot of strength. You'll hear me talking about weakness when there's weakness, and I'll talk about strength when there's strength, and that's what we're seeing right now. Until we don't. That's how the stock market is. It's strong until it isn't. It's weak until it isn't, right? All right. So this is the volatility index. You see it got up to like the $60 area a couple weeks ago. Boom, it's back down below the 20. That's below its moving average. And that's just saying the panic has been squeezed out of the market, which is what we want. Apple is still, kind of in a downtrend. It doesn't take a brain scientist to see, or a rocket surgeon to see that we are in a downtrend on Apple. Now, I like Apple. I even have a position in it, but it is going down, right? And it's trying to go up. It's trying, and it's doing a decent job. This 214 has turned out to be a little bit of resistance for it. I don't know what that means for Apple. I just tell you, there's other charts that are coming up in a second that look a lot better than Apple. But it's Apple, right? Like they're not going to sell, all of a sudden stop selling phones, right? But look at this chart, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is doing a beautiful little cup here, came up off the bottom on a little double bottom early entry pattern, up over the 200. So NVIDIA looks quite strong right now, and there's a lot of people pile into it. I would love to see more volume, and if we saw more volume, I'd be like, this thing is just dynamite. It is a decent looking chart right now compared to some of the other ones like Apple. Tesla kind of looking the same as Nvidia. Still not that strong. There's still a lot of overhead supply here. Don't be getting all enthusiastic about their June robo-taxi release. That's already in the stock. That news is in the stock. You can't bet on that. And then we have an earnings release coming up on it too. So this is going to be interesting to see what it does. But right now it's showing some strength and it's off the bottom and it's above the 200. MicroStrategy, or it's called Strategy now. It has got a beautiful chart. You can see the difference between that chart and that chart, can't you? Look at all the constructive action above the 200, above the 50. This is just nice. MicroStrategy is doing nice. It's giving up a little bit today and this week, but overall, this has been a fun one to be in. Palantir Technology is another fun one. Look at this chart. Like, if you look at this chart and you look at Apple's chart, there is night and day difference, right? This one is in a breakout, at a breakout point, wants to go higher. Love to see more volume, but it's not bad. And there's not any overhead supply. There's not a lot of sellers up there. So you've got to be in the strong stock. Look at the relative strength rating. It's better than 99% of the stocks in the database. This is a strong stock, one that, if you're like strong stocks, you should be considering. Microsoft is kind of coming back up. It's still got some work to do. It's got a big gap here that wants to fill. I don't know when it's going to fill it, but it will fill it at some point in the future. And we'll do one more. Amazon coming off the bottom. Looks like Microsoft. It's got a big gap and it will fill that in the future as well. Listen, what we do is we don't try to predict stocks. We try to play the probabilities. The probabilities right now, because the market is green using my market timing system, says we have a tailwind. Tailwind means 70% of a stock's action comes from the direction of a stock market, and we are green. So the stock market is giving love to the stocks, and most of the stocks are going green. That's going to be true until it isn't. So hopefully you're in the green stocks and you're in a green market and you're taking advantage of all this stuff. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I always thank you and appreciate you for tuning into the Market Pulse. I love doing these things because I know a lot of people are benefiting from them. People seem to like the way I read charts. Of course, anybody can read charts any way they want, but I read them this way, and I try to put the probabilities on our side, and I hope it helps you. If it does, maybe give me a like or a subscribe or a comment or share this. But anyway, I just appreciate you all being here, and I'll see you on next week's Market Pulse. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.